This is QTV Nightly News coming to you live from our studios on Cairo Avenue, and I am Jennifer Sonko. Thanks for joining us, and here are the main news headlines. At an emotional funeral service, the body of Gambia's late State Guard commander, Colonel Abdullah Mboob, was laid to rest at the Ojo Swing Cemetery on Tuesday, attended by thousands of people. The Ministry of Higher Education has gathered participants from the tertiary and higher education sector to discuss the findings of an internal survey on gender mainstreaming in the ministry. QCell, the Gambia's most innovative GSM operator, has announced a special Hajj package for intending pilgrims heading for the 2024 Hajj in Saudi Arabia to make communication easier. And in international news, Africa Voices on Climate Change Adaptation has emerged as an important topic at the Oxford Africa Conference in the United Kingdom. In sports news, as part of activities marking Mental Health Awareness Month, the Woman Boss held a football match for young girls as a way of encouraging them to be involved in physical activity at the QCT grounds in Bigelow. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. This is QTV News, and I am Jennifer Sonko. We start with sad news, as at an emotional funeral service, the body of Gambia's late State Guard commander, Colonel Abdullah Mboob, was laid to rest at the Ojo Swing Cemetery on Tuesday, attended by thousands, including Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow, Deputy Speaker Sidi S.K. Njai, cabinet ministers, and various religious leaders, amongst others. As Alusisa reports, President Barrow visited the Mboob family house to pay his condolence.
A man of few words, Colonel Abdullah Mboob was a result-driven military officer who spent his life serving humanity and his country. He died last Saturday after a brief illness. The announcement of his death shocked the entire country, including President Barrow, as Colonel Mboob was seen that morning looking healthy in this video filmed by journalist Babukar Manka during a routine piloting exercise in what will become his last professional engagement. Colonel Abdullah Mboob was born on 6th of August 1977 in Banjul. He was the commander of the State Guards Battalion in the Republican National Guard. The senior officer enlisted in the National Army on 8th of February 2000 and underwent basic training at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School as part of Intake 23. The officer was commissioned and promoted to the rank of lieutenant in 2008 and rose through the ranks and was promoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel in 2022. Promoted to colonel by President Barrow a month ago, Colonel Mboob was a graduate of the Spartan College of Aeronautics and Technology in Oklahoma, United States of America, the National Aviation University in Ukraine, and the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. He held an associate degree in flight service, bachelor's in aviation and space technology, and a master's of science degree in defense and international politics, respectively. Mboob was a professional pilot and a certified flight instructor. He was also pursuing a law degree at the University of the Gambia. For friends, relatives, colleagues who will for long struggle to bear the pain of losing a father, brother, husband, son, and true friend, the career military officer represents the values of humility and kindness. Here is Colonel Dr. Musaka, a friend of Colonel Mboob, and Defense Minister Sering Modunjai.
I will remember Abdullah Mboob as a very dedicated servant to the country, a very devoted Muslim, and a very loving father. He will sorely be missed, and I really miss my brother. I will sorely miss him.
It's a great loss for the country. A very disciplined officer, very professional and very intelligent. While his demise is a great loss to Defense Ministry as well as the Gambia Armed Forces.
Speaking during the Fidao at the King Fahad Mosque in Banjul, Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow, Hamad Nkeba, Minister of Lands and Religious Affairs, Imam Mustafa Jallow of State House Mosque, and Imam Ratib Aliu Cherno Maska, respectively, remembered Mboob not just as a devout Muslim, but for his loyalty, discipline, and service to the country, and urged others to emulate the late soldier. President Barrow had also visited the family to pay his condolences and pray for the departed soul. He described Mboob's demise as one of the most shocking and painful deaths. He remembers Mboob as a professional and hardworking officer who was like a family to him. In a Facebook post, lawyer Usainu Dabo, the leader of the United Democratic Party, said Colonel Mboob served the nation with integrity and dignity. A fine soldier by all accounts who was loyal to his oath of allegiance, said the UDP Secretary General and leader. Colonel Mboob is gone, but his legacy lives on. May Allah grant him Jannah. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
We pray that Allah grants him Jannah. Now moving on, the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology has gathered participants from tertiary and higher education sector to discuss the findings of an internal survey on gender mainstreaming in the ministry. This is aimed to develop a gender scorecard action plan to address identified challenges and opportunities in gender mainstreaming. Mohamed Alamin Choi has the rest of that story.
Gender mainstreaming has become crucial in addressing inequality gaps in public institutions. The advocacy is to increase everyone's participation, regardless of their gender, for an inclusive workforce that factors all skills and talents in the course of national development. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology is taking some steps to close the identified gender gaps in the tertiary and higher education sector. Dembaba is the Deputy Permanent Secretary of Admin and Finance at the Higher Education Ministry.
Gender Score Project is a pivotal initiative for the higher education sector, aiming to advance gender equality and foster an inclusive environment. I must say that the Gender Scorecard Project is quite timely as it comes at a time when the ministry is about to conduct a nationwide study to develop a strategy for the increased participation of female within the tertiary and higher education sector.
Emily Sarr is the national consultant for the Gender Scorecard Project. In this workshop, she discusses with participants from the tertiary and higher education sector the internal survey findings on gender mainstreaming in the ministry. This is a build-up towards developing an action plan that will identify challenges and opportunities in gender mainstreaming in the ministry.
Going through the literature, looking at the level of mainstreaming that this institution has done, and rating that, and coming out with a score. That score is those scores are what we will be looking at today in this workshop, doing an assessment of them. So at the end of the day, we come out with an action plan that would be the roadmap that would give us the right direction, the right activities, the right actions that we need to take in order to ensure full mainstreaming.
The Higher Education Ministry is implementing the Gender Scorecard Project in partnership with Commonwealth of Learning, an intergovernmental organization engaged in promotion and development of distance education and open learning. Mike Alfonso is an advisor with Commonwealth of Learning.
The gender mainstreaming process is to integrate gender concerns into everything, and Commonwealth of Learning has taken this up in their strategic plan, as well as it is a cross-cutting theme across COL, and so we are working with the ministry here to do such a that. So it identifies the gaps, and then it creates an action plan, which is what we're doing today, as you know about the scorecard, an action plan for targeted strategies to address gender inequality.
A recent World Bank report shows that globally there is a wider gender equality gap than previously reported. The World Bank reports that no country provides equal opportunity for women, not even the wealthiest economies. The present reality is believed to be a sustainable development challenge that requires reversal. With this initiative, the Gambia is doing something to address this. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Significant step there by Mohas. QCell, the Gambia's most innovative GSM operator, has launched a special Hajj package for intended pilgrims heading for the 2024 Hajj in Saudi Arabia to make communication easier using their QCell SIM cards. Babakar Sise has the rest of that story.
Mamadou Bari, the corporate sales supervisor at QCell, says the idea was conceived by the Q Group chairman Mohamed Jah and is aimed at allowing pilgrims to keep in touch with family and friends. Mr. Bari explains how the Peace of Mind Hajj package is designed.
What it does is able to help our pilgrims to communicate whilst in Saudi Arabia, whilst in Mecca, by using their own Gambian SIM card, that is the QCell line. We as a company, a telco company, we have made an arrangement, an affordable arrangement with our telco partners in Saudi Arabia to allow us roam, to allow our Gambian pilgrims to roam when they take their SIM cards, the QCell lines to Saudi Arabia. Very affordable. The package includes 1 GB, 15 minutes incoming calls, outgoing calls, and 50 SMS. With this, if you are out of your hotel, whilst you are in your hotel, you can connect to your Wi-Fi. But if you are out of your hotel, you can use this package to able to reach to loved ones and to reach your agency or your operators. In case you are lost or you miss your way, you don't need to call anybody in Gambia so that they can help you call your operator down there. You can call your operator down there quickly because you have a package, you have a roaming package that your QCell line is helping you with.
Mr. Barry further explains the cost and how to subscribe to the Peace of Mind Hajj package.
Roaming is very expensive. So these are for emergency and important calls, important communications that we want these pilgrims to use for. The package is costing $2,500. With this, you can able to use this and communicate to everybody. All they need to do is to have a QCell line first. Come to us or call 111 or call me on 3100-882. Whilst we are even meeting some of them, we can activate their QCell line if they don't have QCell line. With that, they can buy the credit, the 2,500, and then we can subscribe or activate this package for them quickly. All you do is *505#, then you dial it, then you have the prompt, and then you ask you to buy the package for yourself or you buy for others. Whilst you are in Saudi Arabia, we can also have an agent who you're gonna give your money to, and then give him your number, and then the person will text us the name and the number, and then whilst we're here in the Gambia, we activate it for the person quickly.
With this package, QCell customers can enjoy calls and data roaming wherever they go in Saudi Arabia, keeping them in touch with home while they are away from home. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
From that story by Babukar Sise, we will now go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we have more local, international, and sports news. Do stay.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future, tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jennifer Sonko. Now, residents of Busora village in the Marrakech ward of the West Coast region are rejoicing over the inauguration of a new community health facility and a borehole project funded by Africa Relief and Community Development, facilitated by Lamin J. Sane, the National Assembly member for Birkama South. Aliou Cisse was there, and this is his report.
Access to quality, reliable and safe health care and water is a basic necessity and fundamental human rights of everyone. This new health facility in Busura village is fully furnished with drugs. The inauguration of these two life-changing projects brings an end to years of yearning. Residents and local authorities are grateful to the donors and promise to take care of the projects for betterment of the community and its surrounding communities. Boubacar Faye, the Secretary General of Busura Village Development Committee, and Aliou Faye, the alcalde of Busura village respectively, welcome the facilities as timely and are confident it will impact on the community. They thank the donors and Honorable Sane.
This clinic, no doubt, will play a significant role to the people of Busura here and all the satellite villages in the catchment area.
Your unwavering commitment to serving the people of Busura and Marrakech ward is truly commendable.
Alaji Kamara, Senior Officer of Africa Relief and Community for Development, said his organization is proud to complement the government's effort to provide access to quality health service delivery to all.
We are also operating in 5 other countries, such as Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Niger, and Sierra Leone. These are all countries in West Africa that are enjoying from the fruit of Africa Relief and Community Development.
Alaji Sane, the Human Resource Manager of the Ministry of Health, represented the Minister of Health.
So now, if you look at now this facility that we are taking over now from these donors, there is still lots needs to be in place. We have to consider the operational costs, the operations that has to do with the supplies, the personnel, to provide services, which I know the Minister of Health is keen, in providing these things.
While thanking the donors for the timely intervention, Honorable Lamin J. Sane of Brikama South emphasized the need to also provide staff quarters within the facility to ensure service delivery at all times. He said the new facility will now save the community from having to travel to Brikama for medical services.
It is the sole intention of the government to build health facility in every community in the Gambia. But we have to look at the resource envelope. Year in, year out, there is what we call budget allocation. When you come to the ministry, as a parliament, we are doing everything humanly possible to meet a budget declaration. This declaration is saying 15% of our GLF should go to health. But because of the erratic nature of the cake, we are unable. But they are between 1 to 2 billion on an annual basis.
Africa Relief and Community Development is a humanitarian aid organization dedicated to Africa. It provides a wide range of support, including food aid, clean water, empowering women with skills training, delivering healthcare services, and supporting orphans to foster sustainable change. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
From that story by Aliou Cisse, let's now take a look at news beyond our borders. Africa Voices on Climate Change Adaptation have emerged as an important topic at the Oxford Africa Conference in the United Kingdom. This despite the Africa's contributing the least emissions to global pollution, climate change impacts, and the list goes on. Aliou Cisse, Momodu Gajaga has the rest of that story.
It's day 2 of the Oxford Africa Conference 2024. There's been specific groups. Those groups are focused on different workshops, and in the workshops they're talking about issues affecting Africa, from health to entrepreneurship and climate change. And climate change adaptation, how Africans can get access to funds to mitigate climate effects, and how, if those funds are accumulated, how they will be put into good use.
Africa is the most vulnerable to climate change impacts under all scenarios and is facing significant collateral damage. The panel discussion focused on climate adaptation, policy, partnership and action. Aristide Kambale, a consultant on private sector partnership and development, explains.
But one of the most important things that I always talk about resilience is that it goes beyond just the geographical impact and all the factors that are geographically affecting the people. And it goes down to the whole shape of how people actually live.
Africa is home to 7 of the top 10 most susceptible countries to climate change. In 2015, 4 African countries were among the 10 most affected. Mozambique first, Malawi third, Ghana and Madagascar equal 8th. Janet Rogan, CEO and Director of Royal African Society, addresses the challenges of accessing financing for climate resilience and adaptation.
Now, grants, generally speaking, are what adaptation and resilience projects apply for, because they tend to be from the lowest level of development, from the countries and the communities who are really needing that adaptation and resilience. So they're applying for grant funding. All of the rest had been given out on mitigation loans, because there are 2 mechanisms. It can be a loan. So a loan, you've got to pay it back, you've got to put in some matching funding, and even if it's concessional, you're also paying some interest.
Extreme weather patterns such as flooding or drought threaten people's livelihoods, including agriculture, putting food safety at risk and posing a significant danger to Africa's ability to achieve the SDGs. The Gambia has experienced severe flooding during the past 2 rainy seasons. Ozomaka Namwara, climate change advisor of the Commonwealth Secretariat, addresses the challenges.
In simple terms, when we look at the impacts of climate change, it's either too much water, you have the floods, sea level rise, or too little water, where you have droughts and desertification. Now we see all of this happening in Africa at unprecedented levels. For example, this year in the Western Sahel, we had extreme heat, lethal heat across the Western Sahel. People died.
As of November 2019, 49 out of 54 nations had approved the Nationally Determined Contributions, NDCs. Almost all African countries have signed and ratified the Paris Agreement, committing to improving climate action by decreasing greenhouse gas emissions and developing resilience. The continent urgently needs to adjust to the negative effects of climate change. The voices of the continent have spoken. It remains to be seen whether the rest of the world hears and responds accordingly. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News, Oxford, United Kingdom.
Mamudu Gajaga there reporting from the United Kingdom. Now up next, let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. As part of activities marking Mental Health Awareness Month, the Woman Boss held a football match for young girls as a way of encouraging them to be involved in physical activity at the Q City grounds in Bijilo. As I report, the activity is supported by the Q Group Foundation. This football match is part of Woman Boss's Health for the Win series to raise awareness about mental health issues, destigmatize conversations around them, and promote holistic well-being through sports participation in Mental Health Awareness Month. World Mental Health Awareness Month seeks to address mental health issues, empowering everyone to take action and create lasting change. The football match targeted young girls from Starfish International and Woman Boss. Both organizations provide advanced mentorship programs to help adolescent girls find their voices, develop careers, amongst other activities. Here is founder and president of Woman Boss, our Mary Lokan.
We notice that a lot of girls now are depressed, they're stressed out, they have anxiety disorders, there's obesity also in the country that we never had growing up. So the first start was the football for mental health series. Then we want to do, the next one will be track, running track. Then we want to do a dance. We want to do yoga. So different activities where it encourages young girls to come out, move, meet new people, network, but at the same time also learn the side effects and effects, or what you categorize as mental health.
Clinical psychologist Sylvia Lorenzi is the founder of Peace of Mind, established to raise awareness and offer support in response to psychological issues that affect individuals across the country, within homes, schools, and the community. Here she explains the role of sports in promoting one's mental health.
Sport is something that is very important in our life, because when we exercise, our brain releases endorphins that can help us to cope with stress. So basically, if you do sports and if we exercise every day, it helps to reduce stress, and it helps our body to cope with the stress responses. So it's part of mental health prevention, doing sports as often as we can. Then we have also, of course, other strategies when it comes to mental health.
Participants Eva Marilo and Aisha Balde say playing football with other young girls is a good way to be empowered, resilient, and enhance their abilities to work in a team.
Honestly, the experience playing football in advocacy for mental health is actually really, really important. Not only does it improve our physical health as well as our mental health, because we're around people, we're socializing.
So I feel so amazing, like I had to play with my fellow girls, not because like we had the highest score, it's because we had to come together and then be one, and then we had this opportunity to come and play with our fellow girls. So I feel so excited.
The football game ended with Team Starfish International recording an astonishing 9-0 win following a brilliant performance. The football match is sponsored by Q Group Foundation, the philanthropic arm of the Q Group of companies. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko. Brilliant. Now, before we end this news bulletin, let's recap our main headlines. At an emotional funeral service, the body of Gambia's late State Guard Commander, Colonel Abdullah Mboob, was laid to rest at the Old Joswang Cemetery on Tuesday. The Ministry of Higher Education has gathered participants from the tertiary and higher education sector to discuss the findings of an internal survey on gender mainstreaming in the ministry. QCell, the Gambia's most innovative GSM operator, has announced a special Hajj package for intending pilgrims heading for the 2024 Hajj in Saudi Arabia to make communication easier. In international news, Africa Voices on climate change adaptation has emerged as an important topic at the Oxford Africa Conference in the United Kingdom. And in sports news, as part of activities marking Mental Health Awareness Month, the Woman Boss held a football match for young girls as a way of encouraging them to be involved in physical activity at the QCT grounds in Bigelow. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Thanks for watching.